Mesechus Eruvin daf ayin ches. The Gemara says that you have a amoid b'shus rabim that's roch gavoya asor roch dalid. You have a platform that's 10 tefachim high and 4 tefachim wide. That's large enough to become a shus yachid. And on top of it, you have a spike in the middle of the top of the platform. The Gemara has 3 opinions: if it's memayit, if it's not memayit. Rashi says that even if the spike is more than 3 tefachim high, it's not memayit because it's efshir the toli b'midi. Since you could use that spike and hang something on it, it's not memayit from the shear of rishus hayachid. Reb Chaim in his sefer asks a tremendous kasha on Rav Ashi. Reb Chaim has nariches, and he proves that the shear of dalit tefachim that you need for rishus hayachid, there's 2 separate halachas. One halacha is that you need a dalit tefachim for hishtamshus, that's roy to mishtamish with it, and besides that, there's another halacha that the goof of the karka rishus hayachid needs a karka dalit al dalit, and he proves it from the fact that halacha is bor and chulius is mitztarif for making it rishus hayachid, like it's before in our Gemara, and there's 2 different mahalchim to understand why it becomes rishus hayachid. The Gemara over here says because since you could put something on top of it, therefore it makes the entire area rishus hayachid. That even though there's no dalit al dalit, but since you can mishtamish with the bar, with the edges of the bar, that's enough to make on top of rishus hayachid. The Yerushalmi says a different reason is because oimid rubal aparetz, since the sides of the bar is larger than the parets and the hole in the middle, so oimid rubal aparetz makes it like you have dalit al dalit. So Reb Chaim asked, why do you need 2 separate reasons? So Reb Chaim says the answer is that there's 2 separate halachas. Do you need dalit al dalit for shtamshus? So dalit al shtamshus is that the Gemara over here that boy mini all over mishtamish. But besides that, there's halacha that the karka of rishus hayachid needs a mokum dalit al dalit, and that helps oimid rubal aparetz. So Reb Chaim asks, if that's the case, then how does it help when you have a spike in rishus hayachid? How does it help, although you have a mokum shtamshus dalit al dalit, but the mokum of the gufa karka dalit al you don't have because there's a spike in the middle of it. So he wants to prove that see there's no 2 halachas. The whole din is you need a dalit al dalit of shtamshus. Reb Chaim says no. The answer is although there's halacha you need dalit al dalit mitzad the gufa karka. On that it helps when you have 2 different levels, that the bottom of the top of the amoid is most of the area of dalit dalit, and the spike also could be mitzdarif for the area of dalit dalit. It doesn't have to be in one place. But besides that, there's a locha of ishtamshus, and on that the Gemara is telling us that boy minich mishtamish is enough to make it a mokum of ishtamshus of dalit al dalit v'ayin sham oid shehirich b'zeh. We for the other Gemara says a svara that you have a sulam b'bavel, a ladder in bavel that's very heavy, that's kveidon, kvevoson, that the fact that they are so heavy that makes it a kvius, and it has a din of a pesach, even if you're not mavatal it, because it's so heavy. The Chasam Sofer in his Chuvas brings a riot from our Gemara to a very interesting, tremendous discussion, which is a tremendous machlokes achronim. The Taz writes that if you have a side of a city that doesn't have a regular mechitza, but it has a lake or a river which serves as the mechitza of the city. There's, on the bottom of the lake, there's a tail of maslaket, which could be considered a mechitza. But the issue is that although the Gemara says that Mayim is not Mavatal Mechitzas, Paris is Mavatal Mechitzas, Mayim is not Mavatal Mechitzas. The issue is that in the winter, the lake freezes over, and once it freezes over, it should be Mavatal the Mechitza. The Taz and the Mogen Avram write that the fact that it freezes, that's Mavatal the Mechitza, and the Taz says that since people walk on the frozen lake, that definitely doesn't have a loch of mechitza. Doesn't make a difference what the fact that there's a tail underneath it. That's not a mechitza whatsoever. The Taz has Naricha say he's not only is it not a mechitza in the winter, even in the summer it's not a mechitza because we're geyser. And he brings many rayas that it's aser. But the Taz says that if there's a tail of maslaket around the outside of the lake, not covered by water, that's considered a mechitza. The Magen Avraham agrees to the Taz, but he says that in the summer it is considered a mechitza. However, the Tshuvas Knesset Cheskel is Mayrich, and he holds its mutter, and the fact that the lake is frozen is not mevatel the mechitzas. The Chassam Sofer has an arichas gedolah about the Shaila, and he discusses that perhaps, although the ice is mevatel the mechitza, but you could break the ice, and if you could break the ice, and you could have a mechitza because the mechitza is underneath the ice. And then the Chassam Sofer says, no, you can't, because now I break the ice on Shabbos. And he has a mafalpa why you can't break the ice on Shabbos. And then he says, even if you be able to break the ice on Shabbos, the fact that if you take the ice from the lake that covers the side of a city is a tremendous amount of area, which is very heavy, that ice is kvedosan kvevasan, the same way the Gemara over here says a heavy ladder, kvedosan kvevasan gives a chashivas, and therefore it's not bottled. So over here also the ice is not bottled, and therefore it loses the mechitza of the tail of maslaket underneath it. Then the Chassam Sofer says a svara which the Mishnah Berurah brings down. They says that it could be a mechitza, and he says because since people don't walk on the ice, because it's very slippery, only somebody that's very, very talented could walk on the ice without getting hurt. So therefore, ice over the river is not mevatel mechitza b'chlal. Ayin sham oid arichas b'zeh. Ayin Shlomo Klugen is tshuvos. He is arichas also about this, and he brings down to one of the kashas on the Taz and the Magen Avraham from the fact that it's mvur in the Gemara in Babasra that sheleg is not ma'id chaloin for tumah. And the Gemara in the beginning of Perek Chaloin, now Perek, tells two Shabbos to Tumah. On that, Shlomo Kluger says that the Havana in the Taz and the Magen Avraham is not because the ice mitzad atzmoi is mevatel the mechitza. The point is because since there's rabbim that walk over the ice, that's osi rabbim mevatel the mechitza, not the ice mitzad atzmoi is mevatel the mechitza, and so that's why there's no sheiches to halacha of Tumah for Ayin Sham. Wait for the other Marmot base. There's two interesting shilas. If you made a Elon, a Sulam, that you can't go walk on the Elon on Shabbos, the Morris discusses a Shvus, and another Svara that Pischu v'Aryehu the Rav Yoled, and the Mar has another shilah, but also Sulam Ashera, that's a Pesach, but Aryehu Su the Rav Yoled. There's a tremendous discussion in the Poskim that the Poskim compare to this Gemara, the Gabbat Halacha of Dalsois. Dalsois is one of the big shaylas in Eruvin that you need Dalsois Nulus Balayla to be matir a city, and the Avnei Nezer discusses what happens if you have a case that the government doesn't let you close the delas at night. Do you say that's considered a delas, or since they don't let you they close it, so it's considered ein royals, and it doesn't have a loch of a delas? So the Avnei Nezer writes 3 reasons why it's mutter. He said, first of all, you could close it for a short period of time, and such a small period of time that it won't be makbid, and that's okay. Then he says another svara that delas is roy linol. The fact that the government doesn't let you close it, the same way Al Gemara says that a sulam of Asheros, it's a zaytik isser, but it is considered a delas. And he says a third svara, the fact although the Yidden in the town can't close the door, but since the government could, the fact that the government have a right to close the door, that's enough to be considered royal linol. Many achronim, Mafalpul, the Shaila, Ayin the Marsham that says that no, the fact that you could close it for a little bit is not enough. It has to be closed for a long time, and he says it's not considered Ardi Sur the Ravala. Ardi Sur means you could be over the Isser. Mashenkin over here, the government won't let you do it, so therefore it's not considered a Zaitige Isser. The Avnei Nezer has another shaila about this Inyan. If you have a delis that's closed down by Barzel and that's muktzah, that's stopping you from closing the doors, is it considered that's royal linol? It's not considered royal linol. And Avnei Nezer says that since muktzah is Isser Shabbos, so there will be, like the Gemara says over here, that if it's Shabbos, Isser Shabbos with the Gorim law, it's not considered a Zaitig Arya Desur de Ovala, and it wouldn't be considered that's royal linol on Shabbos va'ayin sham.